Testing. Hello? Are we on?
It comes up to about 3,000 here. Somebody should pop up. With
Good morning.
Yeah, there you are. We are live, I think.
How you doing?
I'm okay. Firefighting every minute of every day, probably exactly the same as you.
I've had a little break for a couple of days.
You'll probably have to introduce yourself, and you'll probably have to do it a few times, because the pattern on these streams is a bunch of people start with us here at 8 o'clock, but then during the first half hour, people get their notifications from Twitch. So a lot of new people will be joining every 5-10 minutes for the next half an hour.
I think the people who are early, maybe they already know who I am.
Okay, they know who you are, but my point is, just explaining once is not going to be enough. So whatever. Dave, you cut your hair, you dyed your hair. So.
Morning, everyone.
For those who don't know, this is Taran Casey, I'm a young apprentice carver. Is that the way you describe yourself these days? Or
So, yeah.
Not sure. Do you still use the word apprentice? Because I guess is that the... Okay, not sure.
Because technically it's a 10-year apprenticeship.
Do you have a contract?
No.
No, nothing, just from word of mouth.
Yeah.
Here today, gone tomorrow. In the old days, has he chatted with you about what it was like in the old days? Were there actual formal apprenticeships? The parents would come, hand over the kid, and there would be a document,
I think that's how he actually got his. I don't know if there was a contract as such. We haven't talked about
But
that.
his parents came to visit Takamizawa and said, "Will you take this kid?"
Well, initially he wasn't at Takamizawa. He was somewhere else first. I can't remember his name.
The guy's name begins with a K. I can never remember the carver.
Kikita, ne?
Kikuta, so this Kikuta Kojiro. So.
Taran's not Dave's apprentice. No, I'm an apprentice of another carver.
I refused him when he asked. I don't know if you didn't ask apprenticeship.
Well, Cameron refused me. Yeah. Didn't even have the.
No. But I refused for a very good reason, because I don't want. This guy was serious, clearly serious, and I did not want to be the teacher of somebody who was serious, because I don't do it the proper way. So it was for his own good that I said, we can't do this. I don't remember the exact conversation, but it was for his own good. And absolutely the best decision. Absolutely. You shouldn't have been here. You should be exactly where you are. Absolutely.
And it's good that I can still come here and we can look through prints. I can talk to you about things.
So, I know, in the beginning, that was really touchy to show, because there's a thing that I don't know where to look at the camera, look at you, I guess I can just look at you. When you become somebody else's apprentice, in the old days, that's it, you would never talk to other carvers at all, because we do it this way, no, we do it this way, we do it this way, would have been an awful thing. And so that's why when Taran-san actually became Asuka Sensei's actual apprentice, we had an agreement. I said, look, just don't even come here, I'm sorry. For the sake of your relationship with him, don't come here. You don't want to be going back there and saying, but Dave does it this way, that would be fatal.
Yeah, that would be very bad.
So it turns out that it hasn't been so strict. Taran-san hasn't done silly things like that. And Asuka Sensei knows Taran-san can come here and learn some stuff, even though it's not contradictory to what he's doing. So it's all gone, as far as I understand it, it seems to be pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's worked really well. It could have been kind of awkward.
So, but we did the right thing. We backed off on that in the beginning. Yeah.
Hello, everyone, regulars.
There's a reason why Taran-san is here today. He didn't come just to be the guest on this stream. I'm going to do my normal work, and in a minute, once we finish explaining what's going on here, I'll just sit here quietly and do some work. But there's a reason Taran-san is here today. He's been doing... Can you pop up one of those images, Taran-san, please?
1 second.
Mokuhankan and me, we asked Taran-san if he had time, among his other work, among his teaching and his carving obligations for Asuka Sensei, we asked him if he would have time to work on a project with us. And you can see it on the screen here. This is a Hiroshi Yoshida print from, oh my God, I don't know.
1937.
You know more about this than I do. Okay, 1937. It's a scene of Nikko, and it's prime Hiroshi Yoshida. It's like ultimate, perfect example of his work.
And you chose this one because maybe the colour separation would be a little bit easier than some of his other work. And it's turned out to be not that at all.
Okay, so we've got to go back a little step. Hiroshi Yoshida died in 50 or 51, I forget this, 1950 I think. 51, so his copyrights became free in 2020. So we are now free to make reproductions of Hiroshi Yoshida's work. I've been waiting for this for a long time, and I've jumped on the chance. Now which one to start with? And this is what Taran-san saying. Were you involved in the discussion, or was it just me thinking about it by myself? Were you in?
I was sending you some ideas. I wanted to do the Mansurugi one, the one with the camping on the mountain.
Yeah.
And I sent you a bunch of other. It wasn't just Yoshida we were talking about.
Yeah, that's right. So I had to pick one. The reason we picked this one was we needed to pick a print that had one appeal, on a consumer appeal. We want some that people would buy. The one you sent me, the camping one, I thought was really quite limited in its appeal. So I've got to get something that people will actually want to take home. But then I picked one that was quote unquote going to do easy color separations. I mean, look at it smiling.
The hours I've spent just staring at this thing, like at work in my downtime.
You've got another example. Just click up another one. You can see even among Hiroshi's published work, there are examples with quite radically different color.
And these are two that are the closest together, I'd say. The other ones are wildly different.
Yes. But like this is because they have faded differently, or because they were made differently. What do you think?
It must just be separate printings. Like he didn't like it. I don't know which one was first. Is it the lighter or the darker one? So there's both things.
Either the printer is careless and doesn't follow the original pattern, or Hiroshi said, no, I think let's do it this way from now on. He changed his idea about what to publish.
But he does that with, he makes alternate versions.
That gives us lots of freedom. We can't copy microscopically because there's so many different versions. So all we have to do is make an honest version of this.
The benefit they had, though, was that they had the same blocks. They could just put different colours on it. We got to figure out which ones go where.
Experience, of course.
Sorry, chat. I'm missing lots of this. Did I get it wrong? 1937. Did I say the wrong date?
Well, these guys all have Google and Wikipedia at their hands, and we're just sitting here winging it.
I think I said 37, no?
I don't know. See, that's why I didn't even guess, because I know my limitations.
Well, I've been making a video for this one, and that was one of the things I say in the video, like the intro.
Taran-san, promises. We've been hearing about this video for. You're worse than Dave Bull, that Dave Bull guy. You're worse than him. He always promises next video is any time now.
I never promised that. I just said I'm going to make one. Paper out.
Yes, 3 packs are out. One is, Suga-san is working on the December print, the December subscription print. The first group is all done. Shikao-san did them. Suga-san is working on the second group. He published December the 11th. Ayumi-san is doing some of the Arakawa print, the blocks that Steve Wunieki carved for us, the houseboat in Arakawa. Oh. And then she asked me this morning, she left a message for me, bring out an extra package of paper for
me.
For Taran-san. That's it. The reason Taran-san is here today is he is going upstairs as soon as this stream is finished, and he is going to spend the morning or the day or whatever with Ayumi-san, our #1 Shinhanga Experience printer, and they're going to do some test proofing on the blocks that Taran-san has done so far. You can take it over. We don't have a full set, but explain like what we've been done, what we've been trying to do.
So there's a few color blocks. I'll pop the picture up again. There's a few color blocks that are like kind of straightforward, and you can see there's some base tones. In Shinhanga there's loads of base tones. So there's a base tone under everything that's green and base tone under everything that's brown. So I've got those 2 blocks. I've got some reds and some other greys, but other than that it's really quite tricky to figure out which blocks go together, which areas of colour go together, because there's so many overlays.
So the point is, we didn't try and go all the way to the end and make a full set of colour blocks. We've made what we think are as Taran said, the base tones. We think we'll test proof that and then try and think about what to put on top.
Yeah, which colours can go together, what the next. I think there's about 14 blocks, so 7 blocks either side. That was in the original, but we'll see how many we end up with. Does Mr. Bull own any privately own any famous woodblock prints? He owns a lot of woodblock prints.
I don't remember famous. I know that sort of stuff like pre-war Hasuis and original Hiroshi Yoshidas and stuff. No, I have very, very few. Very, very few. I never had the budget for it, and also I don't want to be a print collector in the sense of collecting that expensive stuff and it's going to accrue in value and stuff like that. My interest in these things has been the craft, the technique. I want these beautiful little pieces of paper. I mean, the kind of stuff exactly we've been showing on Show and Tell.
Oh, sorry, okay.
So no, I don't have a famous collection whatsoever. Not at all. it's actually, it's funny, it's worthless in a sense, because the things I buy just really don't have any recoverable value. They could go out to auction again or something. But if I was having an insurance claim in here, an insurance adjuster in here to value my collection, there just wouldn't be one.
They've got other values, you know. They're not.
Well, I think they're useful, of course,
Yeah.
interesting, and they're going to use value to society, but there's certainly nothing, monetary value. A few, not so much.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I left the print up a little.
Oh, it's covering up my work.
Yeah. I took it away now.
Am I on camera? I can't see this, so you tell me where I should be or what I should be zooming in, or I never thought about that. Sorry.
There we go.
Okay.
That's better.
Okay.
Sorry, we got busy talking.
Yeah. Okay. No, let me know. I can't see this, so it's all Taran's fault. And I've got to try and stay in this area right here, okay?
I'll
But I
keep
might
an eye on it now.
move. Let me know if I wander too far, Taran. So.
Okay. So
Sorry.
just before we start the stream, you were doing the big clearing work. So it's mostly nice quiet work.
Nice
for the
crunch,
stream.
crunch, yes. So. This block, my God. Whichever way you go left, it's wrong. You go right, it's wrong.
Thank you, Nightbot. Yeah, that's correct. My name's Taran. I'm an apprentice here in Tokyo, and I've been doing lots of odd jobs for Mokuhankan. I'm doing a big one now.
I wouldn't call those odd jobs. You've been doing some jobs for us. They're in the catalogue. They're, Taran-san has now, I think there's 1, 2, 3. I can see 3 right there across on the wall. There's 3 that you've done. 4 that you've done for us.
Yeah.
The Winter Village there, the Travelers, the Mount Fuji in the distance there with the people on the right hand side, and the dark one with the cormorant fish.
You make excellent Christmas gifts.
Not anymore, they don't. We're too late now.
Okay.
Too late, sir.
Should have come a week earlier, a month earlier.
Well, Taran-san's done some nice work for us. The idea is to start small and then work our way up, and it's so far exactly according to plan. We may have jumped too far with this Hiroshi Yoshida one, but hey, what the hell?
See.
That's the way to learn to swim. It's the deep end of the pool, right?
How many times did Taran-san have to say the really long city name when he was school? Not so much in school, but oh my God, as I work as a teacher here in Japan as well, and that was the
Number one question.
yeah. Say the thing, or say bottle of water, because I'm also British,
The crosses we all have to bear. Hey, they won't forget you. Do people know what you're talking about here?
You're going to make me do it.
No, I'm not. Type it.
The Shanbad PG one, the really long Welsh name. There's lots of people talking about the football here.
Yeah.
I think Wales played Iran last night. I have
Oh,
no
Wales is in there, are they? Really? I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't care about football. It's such a, people are so fervent about it in the UK that it's like 95% of the people in the UK are crazy about it, and so when everyone's that strong,
Is it class based? I know. Is it working class?
No.
It's everybody.
it doesn't matter. When the football's on, everyone's together and they're all fighting in the pubs. I actively.
And are they
dislike
doing
it.
well, or are they going to shame themselves, or what's the deal?
I think they've never been in. It's been like a long time since Wales was.
Yeah, it was Wales. I meant England. England winners was 1960. I remember I was collecting postage stamps, and I remember they took the postage stamps that were there and they stamped special things on top of them. England winner. And I guess they won. It was in Germany, perhaps. I don't know. 1966.
Yeah, there's a bunch of songs in when they're still singing today.
Because that was the last time, I guess, wasn't it?
We like our chants in the UK. Not many of them I can say on stream.
Well, what's the pool? Is it 32 countries or 64 countries?
I have no idea. Chat will know better than me.
The other day they came up on the chat here because I guess Japan had one when they first came, and I hadn't even actually known they were playing. It's just things here these days. There's just no way I can put that on my radar. So okay, let's move in closer. Okay.
Winnie Pillow, sorry, are you talking about Korisai? Did a fantastic set of original stuff many years ago. His work, forget his name, lots of nature scenes. Maybe Korisai? I don't know, I didn't catch the start of that.
Okay, I'm going to do some very light tapping. You shouldn't interfere with the conversation, I think.
A lot of hair here. Yeah, I need to get a cut.
Both sides, I think so. I was in Oma yesterday afternoon and they said, "Are you here to get your hair cut?" And I'm like, I just didn't have time. Against the grain again. Oh yeah. Am I on camera still? It's okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
Do you hear this board? It's musical because there's so much wood missing from the back side of it. Every time you tap on the top of it, it resonates.
It also does that, that sound kind of scares me because sometimes it means that the top board is separated from the ply.
Well, so we don't have that. I know we're not. You're using Matsumoto boards, right? Asuka Sensei's place.
It doesn't happen very often. I've had a few blocks like that. You hear a little tap.
Okay, the boards we gave you shouldn't in any way do that because we're using a much stronger bond than Matsumoto-san. But the downside is, if you go through, you're going to be careful with your chisel because that blue is extremely hard.
Are the costs of wood blocks expensive, or do you buy them in bulk? Dave buys them in bulk. He makes them.
We don't buy wood blocks in bulk.
You
we buy wood.
wood.
We buy pieces of tree.
And it's expensive. Buying individual blocks is very expensive. Yeah.
Ah, that reminds me. I'm supposed to talk about this on screen. Wood like Matsumura. I've got a number of emails now. One repeatedly the last week or so somebody has written about this and I haven't had time to reply and I should. There's a number of people who've asked the same thing. It turns out that Wood like Matsumura-san is basically no longer shipping overseas. He's got his online English catalogue. It closed when the post office closed. It hasn't reopened, and people have written to him, and he says, "I got no plan to reopen it." I called him the other day, and he says he has no plans to resume overseas sales of woodblock print supplies. Period.
It's rough.
And people are panicking. Maybe not the right word. People are now coming to me, "Dave, here you are. Do this. It's your opportunity. Do this." Or not just our opportunity, it's our responsibility. We're the only people here that can do this. Get some supplies, some brushes, some knives, some wood, some whatever, and start selling overseas.
You've got some free time, right?
Yeah, I've got some free time. And I'm not being sarcastic or cynical, but I get the requirement. There is a huge market opportunity here. There's a huge demand, a huge need.
You've got some knives coming to the market any day now, right?
If he hadn't died, yeah. So the guy died on me. What can I do, you know? Row! One guy died and one guy retired, the handle maker and the blade maker. Good thing he died before we actually got them into the market. Anyway, the conversation's going to go all over the place here. The main reason behind Matsumoto-san's problem was, one was logistics, getting packages of different size to different countries. Now that actually has pretty much come back. It's not all the way back, but we now can ship to most countries without too much problem. The logistics part of it is becoming, but it's the new normal. It's not normal, it's new. But the barrier he couldn't cross, and the barrier we would have the same problem with, is European regulations. It's absolutely destructive to shippers like ourselves who try to ship things into the UK or Europe.
Just because of the import taxes,
or because they have moved to this system where anybody selling into the EU has to collect tax from the purchaser themselves, and we have to remit tax to the EU governments, and we have to show on each package going in that this tax has been collected and is going to be paid. And that means we need the cooperation of the shippers here. The Japanese post office has to be able to send a package to Europe with this documentation. and their system is not ready for it. We've asked them and they said not yet. So we could change our shopping cart so that German people would pay the German VAT. We could register it with the German government or the IOSS system so that we would then pay that. But what we can't do is tell the post office that this is already duty paid so that when it arrives in Germany, they let it through. And I can't get across that barrier until the Japanese post office updates their system to do this. Neither could Matsumoto-san. So we can't. We are blocked from shipping things to most of Europe. Now, Mokuhankan survived because we're sending woodblock prints, and a lot of them are sliding through as letters and things like this. If you try sending a box of knives or a package of brushes, boom.
Yeah, I tried just sending my brother a birthday present.
Yeah.
I had to send it on ship just because it was like too much.
So there's nothing like Matsumoto-san has just said, I give up. And this is European regulations. I don't know your political philosophy or political sensibilities, but the reason we can't do this is European regulation, period. Good or bad, whatever. In the future, it will be possible when the post office here has woken up to the 21st century and built systems that will incorporate this, but I have no idea if that's coming tomorrow or years from now.
Well, they'll have to sort something out at some point. It's just going to...
Well, they don't really care. No, they don't really care. No, the Amazons can do this already. The Amazons are set up to do this. But normal businesses like myself, who are at mercy to those third parties, the post office and the tax agency, there's nothing we can do.
Okay, Sarah. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, that is you and me birthdays, both in November, right?
Well, I am. I don't remember yours. I'm sorry if I said
mine was it's only a couple of days before yours. Mine's the 2nd.
You probably told me that, but I don't remember. I'm sorry. There's stuff that I can.
I can't remember. Yours was like 11th, wasn't it? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, Armistice Day.
The true reason is the Japan post office. Sounds like it. Oh no, it doesn't.
Well, it's not their responsibility, you know. I'm sure they're saying the same things I'm saying. Oh, Jesus, one more step we have to do, you know. It's not their idea to do this.
There should have been some communication between the different countries before, like, there should be a grace period.
Well, none of this is a surprise. It's been coming for well, I can't say decades, but since internet shopping became a thing, so, you know, at least 10 years or so, this has been coming for a long, long, long time. There's no surprises here. I mean, we already use the post office APIs all the time. Every day, everything we send out of here goes through my software, connects to the post office APIs to do all the paperwork. So I'm just waiting on that. Am I still in view?
Yeah, we're good. We could scoot it a little bit.
I'm going to need this for this part. Okay. I need to be here.
We're okay.
What?
Maybe a little lower.
A little lower, meaning what?
Meaning centre this a bit more. So.
Somewhere on there?
That's
okay.
good.
Thank you, sir.
What number block is this one?
This is the 4th blue, the final blue.
The darkest.
The darkest blue, yes. So.
How many blocks in total? There's like.
I don't really know.
Still 2 brown. There's a black. A yellow.
There's the red bikini, the black hair, lips, and then the surfboard, which I'm still not sure. 1, 2, 3, or perhaps 4.
Not so long on this one, then.
No, if I accept that, it's about to go into storage because I have got to start the subscription January subscription print.
When are you posting about that?
I don't know. Next video, real soon.
How often do you get invited to public schools and universities for demos?
Me,
and art
no
show?
longer, no longer. I'm known in Japan. Back when I was doing the poet series, I had to do demonstrations and speeches and talks and stuff all the time. But these days, nothing. I'm off the radar in Japan now. All of our social media activities is in English. We're pretty much unknown. Before social media really became a thing, my publicity initiatives were mostly exhibitions here in Japan. And as part of that, I contacted the media a couple of times a year to give pamphlets and updates and brochures and newsletters and stuff. So I was on the radar. But since we switched to using social media as our main method of communication, we let the Japanese side slump, rightly or wrongly. So I'm unknown here in Japan. I walk out on the street, nobody knows who I am.
I'll move the mic a little bit.
Okay.
It's saying you're a little quiet.
Yeah. Oh, no, you can maybe, if you need to boost it, it's the one that's in the middle here. It's that, you can see which it is. Because we're not hammering anymore. Yeah, it's up to you. Boost it up if you like. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Better?
You're the sound engineer here. That sound good. I'll try and remember to talk more from me, sorry. Instead of mumbling.
Questions?
Well, no, I can't. I don't have ESP.
Chat's gone kind of quiet.
Okay.
Will you try printing for a while to get a feel of what printers expect from you, carving? Well, I have done some printing. It's just, I won't ever be training in it, but it is good to do a little bit here and there. Just to, one thing I will have to, like, as apprentice, it's kind of expected. One thing Asuka Sensei did when he was an apprentice was print the New Year's card every year, and I did print last year's New Year card.
Even why would apprentice carvers do that? Like when he was an apprentice carver, why would he have done that? Why not the apprentice printers?
Because it's cheap. Apprentice, you don't have to pay apprentice fees.
But I mean, the younger printers, why would they not have been delegated to print the New Year's card? Why would the young carvers have been delegated?
Because there's separate workshops.
Ah, so. Okay. Yeah, I get you. So the printers and carvers are not the same company.
The carver does a quick little block.
Workshop. Okay. There are no.
And he just you print this. I'm not going to pay for it.
There are no printers in the carver workshop. Okay. I'm thinking of my own place where we have both. Okay, I misunderstood. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
So I actually did that last year.
Gotcha.
I printed and carved, but my God, was it some thick paper, and I have not had experience doing like a run of 170.
What was the design? I don't remember. Did I get? I don't remember. He must have sent me one. I don't remember.
I think he sent one of the old batch. Mine didn't go out.
Well, there's New Year cards that go to people that no one care, the paper maker or whatever. Then there's New Year cards that go to the post office, the business people you deal with who couldn't care less and wouldn't know anyway. So, okay.
Yeah, I talk Japanese to my teacher. He doesn't speak any English, really. Well, none at all. He doesn't speak any English, full stop. He has the odd word every now and again.
He's a really nice guy, isn't he? He's such a good guy. The thing about what Tadan-san is doing here is, being an apprentice to an old craftsman, it could be an awful situation. A lot of the old craftsmen are in this mindset that they were abused, they were beaten either physically or whatever. They were not cared for, they didn't get paid well, they were expected to work long and hard. It was an abusive relationship in the old days. Woodblock printmaking and carving is not specifically noted for being terrible in that respect, but it wasn't friendly relationship. It's now different. Obviously, Asuka Sensei understands that this is the 21st century. I mean, you can't punch people up, and you can't. If you abuse them, they're just going to leave. Period. They're just going to leave. But also, he's at heart, he's a nice guy anyway. So what he's done is something interesting, even though he was, oppressed and not paid well and all this stuff and asked to do heavy stuff. He's trying to treat Tadan like a human being, as far as I understand. Partly because of expediency, partly because he's a nice guy at heart. He's a good man. What I would like to think they're doing over there is the same thing that we try and behave with our people here. I try, and we say it in Japanese all the time. Ningen ni yasashi, sakuhin ni kibishi. The people who are working upstairs with me here, the prints they make, I want to be extremely strict with that part of the work. And I will yell and demand changes and blah, blah, blah. But the person themselves, I'm going to treat them like a normal human being as much as possible. And
that's how you get the best out of people as well.
At the moment, that's sort of, you can be sarcastic. That's you have no choice, because if you don't, they're going to leave. But it's also, to me, it makes common sense. You treat people decently. God, why and why not? That old system of beating up apprentices.
It's just continuing a cycle. I was beaten, so you should be beaten.
Well, there is that part of it, but there is also the other part of it is that it worked. It filtered out anybody who was weak. It turned a certain character of person who would say, you watch, you just wait and see. And the kid became a super wonderful, strong craftsman. Not in spite of this thing, but because of this thing. So it did work. So I'm sitting here being too gentle with my people, and because I'm too gentle with them, they are not strong, core strength craftsmen, period. So there's a bit of a paradox here, It's nice that he's treating you like a nice human being, but maybe you would have been a stronger craftsman, or would become a stronger craftsman if he pushed you to it, possible.
So like Kubota-san there.
Kubota-san, so he says the same thing. He was treated brutally, and man, he's king. But he's the one who got through it. The other 9 kids that didn't get through it. But then, do we want those 9 kids? They wouldn't have become the top craftsmen anyway. So this is this hugely interesting topic with no specific, definite answer.
So there's got to be a more positive way of filtering and pushing those people.
Well, you tell me. What is that more? You tell me how to do it. If you're kind and gentle to them, they will be weak. I really don't know. It's not just woodblock.
So that's another thing, that today's woodblock carver, like today being a woodblock carver isn't exactly a feasible job to be really strict with someone right off the bat. They've still got to pay for a house. They've got all these costs that it was a lot easier in the past to have an apprentice. They live in your house. You feed them food and you treat them however you want. They're under your roof. You're teaching them everything they know.
Okay, but why don't we still have that expectation? Why are you still expecting to have an independent, happy life?
The bottom rungs of the ladder have been taken out. There's no low-level work. No? Those are the words from your own mouth, those. The bottom rungs have all been taken out.
I'm not against you, understand. It's a hugely interesting and hugely complex point. I read an article in an online magazine sometime just this past week or so, 2 weeks ago, about an American young man who had apprenticed with a bonsai master here in Japan. And the description of the way he was treated is just, it's gut-wrenchingly awful, just awful. And if I read what he said in this interview, he understood that gave him huge skills, that he learned a stunning amount, but that it damaged him. It damaged him mentally. And it sort of, would you do it again? The answer was no.
I'm not going to send any kind of message anymore when time sounds right.
Huh?
Sorry, did I miss something?
What, someone's been trying to get through the question and can't get through it?
This isn't the guy who's now based in Nashville, is it? I'm a bit confused, sorry, I've lost the track a little bit here.
The bonsai guy?
You can teach someone these skills without harming them their psyche. Neuroscience is very clear on that.
Okay, but wait, we're not actually talking about teaching skills. What they were, that bonsai guy, the world they were trying to do is, they were, what's the word? Teaching a mindset, molding you as a human being that will become a different human being. It wasn't just saying, oh, here, let's learn how to hold this knife properly. It wasn't simply a transfer of a skill set. And I'm not justifying it at all. I'm just repeating what was said in this magazine. This is not my viewpoint. Please don't jump on me here. That's not how we roll here at Mokuhankan.
Of course, I understand the whole pushing you thing. I get that. I'm just here to be the opposite to your point, you know.
Yeah. No, it's what I did to myself, you know. I treated myself brutally the years of my apprenticeship, that 5 years of the student runner off. I talked about it in previous newsletters. You know, I did things that if a medical professional had been near, they would have sent me in for evaluation. Some of the things I did to myself. I knew I needed strong guidance, and I knew I wasn't capable of doing it myself. So I literally imagined a straight master in the room. That episode with the leaves, carving the leaves I talked about. Jesus.
I have a technical carbon question. Okay,
Hey,
let's go.
As
someone who is just starting, I often wander off the lines and have difficult time picking back up and continuing the cut along the line. The knife always wants to continue on the off the line cut. No matter how much practice. Any tips for when you wander off a line, getting back on? Go back. If you're carving along the line and you come off, then
with the grain across the grain.
With the grain across the grain. Which one?
With very different terms, actually.
Explain?
No, I said I keep quiet. Wow, I can't keep quiet. Dave, shut up. Let someone talk.
No, I'm very curious. What do you mean against the grain, with the grain?
When we're carving against the grain, the knife won't follow the grain. So we are the master, 100%. When you're carving with the grain, the knife tends to follow the grain. So if you're doing like a straight line either way, if you cross the grain, straight lines are much easier. With the grain, straight lines are, oh my God. So that's all I meant.
Okay. I thought you meant there was another technique, like instead of going back.
No. The point being, he said the knife wanders off the line. If it's a cross grain line, he's the guy who has to control this more carefully. But if it's a with the grain line, it may be, is a different. So anyway, I'll keep quiet. I'm sorry. I'll try and keep quiet.
Please talk, otherwise it'll be a silent stream.
Go ahead, answer the question. I'm sorry.
So yeah, just go back and carve from a little bit higher. You can shave a fraction of a millimetre off and then cut a new line from it. Before I go, I have to know what was the longest Mr. Bull went without sleeping during his apprenticeship. Well, self-imposed apprenticeship.
How long I went without sleeping? It's not a relevant question. I've always taken care of myself. I eat well, I sleep well, I don't abuse myself. Absolutely. When I said I abuse myself, we're talking about the mental point of view while I'm at the bench and while I'm doing the work. I didn't, if I spoke loosely, I didn't mean to say that I tried to replicate an abusive apprenticeship relationship. I didn't mean that at all.
One thing you had though is all your work was it was chosen by you. The deadlines were set by you,
and the work was to be as difficult as possible. The idea was to shoot for 101% of what I thought I could do, or make it up numbers or whatever. And the deadlines were there, and I had a mortgage and I had kids. But I've always taken care of myself, absolutely. So sorry if I gave the wrong impression there.
But it's quite a different thing, having your own goals. You choose, this is the time frame I think I can do this in, not someone else thinks I can do this in as well.
Yes, this is why in that famous video of mine with Ito-san the carver, he says, it's just a hobby for you, just a hobby. And in his point of view, because I was choosing these things and fooling around, it was from his point of view a hobby. Nobody was driving me. And I rejected that because I myself was driving myself more than a hobby.
You don't know.
So that's why I didn't get upset about what he said. I understood what he said, but that's why I came back. I'll show you. Because I wasn't behaving like a hobbyist actually, although he couldn't see that. So it's okay. I'm not upset with him, even though I was upset. Just a hobby for you. No, it isn't. I'll show you. I'm a craftsman. Ego, Taran-san. How's yours? Kind of big? Kind of decent size?
I'm managing it.
I'm not.
It flares up when someone says something about how I cut. Like, how to explain it? It's gonna get all philosophical now. Like Asuka Sensei, every now and again, he'll describe something about the type of carver I am, and it just no, that's not how I am at all.
What do you mean?
It's exactly the
You
same.
talk about praise. He'll say something good about you.
No.
I don't get it.
He'll explain to someone else, this is Taran, he's like this type of thing.
Oh, okay.
He works really fast and he doesn't concentrate. And I was like,
You mean he's praising you in front of somebody else?
No,
politely.
quite the
I'm not sure
opposite.
what
Quite the
you're
opposite. He's like, this is. He often introduces me and he's like, yeah, he still needs to work. He works really fast, or he's like this kind of personality when he carves. And I'm like, okay, I'll show you.
Okay, but wait a minute. There's something in play here, and you must know about this. When the third party's in the room, he's the sensei, you're the apprentice. You guys have your own relationship. He knows he's got to be easy on you these days compared to the old days. That's between the two of you. But when a third party is there, he can't show too much weakness, you know. He's got to sort of demonstrate that he is a sensei. Otherwise, he loses face and loses, you know. So he doesn't have to punch you out while those people are there, but he can't like overly praise you. He can't say too many good things about you. You're
because he's praising himself.
Yes,
as well, yeah.
yes. He can't say, I get this fabulous kid. He's going to be a real. He can't say that. So please, I don't know if you know this, but please keep that in mind. You know, he's not socially permitted to say anything really good about you while somebody else is there. Period. You know.
But it's the choices of words
well,
that it's like.
Which ones he said?
Yeah. I don't mind you saying anything about my carving, like prescribe.
Yeah,
it's the words you're choosing to prescribe to me.
Your
Like, okay, that's not. Those are the times I'm like, okay, I'll show you.
Well, all I'm saying is back off a little bit, because there's certain things he has to say socially in that environment, you know. And if you were like on a stage giving a speech together or something like that, that's going to be really tough, because you know there's 100 people in the audience, and he is not allowed to, you know. I got this kid, he's been hanging around and shit, I don't know, you know, whatever. There's a maybe, just he might make it, but I don't know, we'll see. I don't know.
Politics, yeah.
It's not politics, it's culture.
You need to be a master of the human relationship to live in there.
Same in any culture at all, absolutely. You don't know what country you possibly live in, but things there are, they're not exactly the same here, but they're the same in that human beings have worked out how to live together. Period. You know?
It works.
Hugely, I'd love to read a good book about that. I couldn't write it because I've never been in that environment. You know. That would be a really interesting book. Go and interview the bonsai guy, interview people at different levels of you know, different crafts here who've been through it at different levels. It would be really
different
interesting.
ages as well.
Yeah, whatever, so. It would be really interesting.
Let's have it. 43.
Well, absolutely. I've mentioned this many times. When I came here, I was expecting that I would be able to find some kind of guide, teacher, sensei, whatever. Turned out that wasn't possible, and that's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I could not have gone through anything like that. I would have been out of there, and I think the world would have lost a useful person in the woodblock field. That's simply my character. I'm one of the people who would have failed. I would have been filtered out in that traditional environment. But are you taking care of yourself, like sleep and food and stuff like that? No.
Yeah.
And as much as I can ask, I'm sorry to invade your privacy, but I mean, it's an issue when we're talking about the situation. There's so much work to do and things like this, and different things driving you. You know. Stress management and stuff. Okay.
Stress is fine. I just wish there was more hours in the day. I have lots of things that I'm trying to do all at once, and there's just not enough time for everyone. I should be doing more shodo. I should be spending more time on the video. I should be studying more kanji. I need to be in the studio more. I need to be in school more. It's just the two lives I'm leading at the moment. It's a lot. But you know, that's what it is. It's just the day job. That must have been a big step for you.
It was. 1991, July of 1991, June of 1991, my last English class.
The thing that's been a little bit difficult this year is because I actually went part-time halfway through last year, and then I was forced to start work again halfway through the year. So I did half a year of
freedom,
full-time carving, part-time teaching, and then I had to go back. So that's been a bit of a transition to go back. And this year I've started in a private school. It's a whole thing.
In our case, I was forced. Our family living was my in-house English school, and woodblock printing was a slight income addition on the side of it. But then with a sudden divorce and split and her leaving, I had 2 kids. I wasn't able to keep teaching in-house anymore because I had to take care of my kids. So I suddenly had to make a transition before the woodblock income was enough to make a living on. And that year, I don't really want to talk about it too much, but that year was a year. Two little kids, they were.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
6 and 8, and we didn't have enough money. And
that's a hell of a jump. That's when you decided, right, I've got to make a full-time thing of this?
Well, I had no choice. You know, I had started the poet series by then, and we knew we couldn't make a living on it. We had like 7 subscribers. So the idea was to keep the English school going, gradually build up the printmaking revenue.
Okay.
And we thought it would take 2 or 3, 4 years, I don't know, because it was building. I was getting more publicity. There were 7 subscribers, then there were 8 subscribers, and then bang, she left. And we had like 7 subscribers. That was it. So that next year, that year after she left was whatever. It was what it was. We've talked about it in some of the videos. I got saved. I won an essay contest, which paid a 1,000,000 yen prize. I won it that spring, and it fed us for the year. Just talk about a drop from heaven, you know. I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in gods and stuff, you know, but somebody sent me 1,000,000 yen, you know, just when we needed it most. "300-word story."
What was the topic?
The theme was, kankyo ni yasashi, taking care of our environment. And this was, it would have been 1992 or something. The environmental issues were just at the beginning. The Yomiuri newspaper was trying to coax this sort of stuff at the beginning. I sent in a 300-word essay, and they gave me 1,000,000. And they also gave me the tax money, so they gave me 1,011,111 yen, so that they could take 10% off, and I would still get the 1,000,000 yen.
Wow.
And the environment minister, we went to a ceremony at the place there. The environment minister stood up, and this foreigner who was helping us Japan learn how to take care of our environment, blah blah blah, and everybody's crying and blah blah blah. He gives me this certificate, and I've got 1,000,000 yen in my pocket. It's just incredible, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then what was super funny was the ceremony was all talk. Environment minister said this, blah 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 blah. Then they gave this money to me, and they passed me a microphone to say a few words.
You can't speak.
Well, because in 1992, I wasn't very good, but the first thing I said is, I forget the exact words, but anyway, I spoke Japanese. I picked the microphone and said, so desu ne, domo arigatou gozaimashita, and then I tried to say a few words. And as soon as the first word came out of my mouth wasn't Japanese, whatever it was probably was, it was, arigatou gozaimashita. They're shocked, it's just stunned into silence. The whole room falls silent, and the stage falls silent, and he looks at me. This creature could actually speak a bit of Japanese. This is how long ago it was when it was nowadays nobody blinks. But then I stumbled through my little tiny thank you speech, which I'd sort of, prepared in the back. And we walked home with my 2 kids. The 2 kids came there to the ceremony with me. Went home with our little red envelope and ate for the next year. $300 words. What's the money per word? 1,000,000 yen. 300 words. How much per word did I get paid for that story? I don't know.
Who's good at maths?
It's on the website. It's on my woodblock.com website.
Nihongo Joe's in it.
Joe's enough. Good enough. The really, really funny thing, I think I've talked about it before, so it's okay. The essay contest, the content of the thing that I had written in quick, tiny 25 words or less was that our family going to the Inaka, going to the countryside in the summer, had found garbage in the river. So my wife, before she split, she says, "Come on, let's grab up this garbage." And I'm like, "Shit, this is not my town. Let's leave it. I don't care." And she says, "Get going, you and the kids." And we picked up garbage. We did this every day while we were there. And while we were there, like the local kids and maybe some of the local townspeople started getting a bit embarrassed about this, and they started joining us. So she was the team leader. She was the instigator. She was everything about this. And by the time we left the place, it was really clean. We go back a year later, more garbage. She starts again. So this went on for like 2 or 3 years. So anyway, so after she had split and gone, I see the announcement in this newspaper, hey, like essay contest about taking care of your environment. I remember this episode. So I didn't mention it was her. I said our family, blah, 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 blah. So the point being, it's actually her episode that I was telling, So it's okay. I thought you left us in this hole, but it's okay. Thank you for the little, for the 1,000,000 yen here. So I probably shouldn't.
The stats are in. What is that? 3,333.3 yen
per word. Okay. The story's on the website. It's on my woodblock.com website somewhere.
Someone can link to that.
It's probably in the essays and other something. I don't remember what it is. It's not great literature. It just tells a story about cleaning up garbage on a river. That's all.
Taryn, it's been great seeing your updates. Well, on Instagram. Yeah, I need to post more, sorry. I've been trying to do little snippets from the video I'm making. Someone was asking earlier about YouTube. I will have a YouTube channel. I've got the page, but it's kind of difficult to search for it because I don't have any likes, I don't have any comments, I don't have any videos up. So you can't actually search for it.
Oh, there's no content yet.
There's nothing there, yeah, it's just...
Well, all I can say is when you do get something up, let me know and we will instantly link to it from ours and from Instagram or whatever. So as soon as you're up and running, let me know.
It's basically done. I just need an outro.
What are we talking about, 5 minutes? An hour?
It's
what are we talking about?
40-ish minutes.
And this is carving of the key block.
This is just the key block.
Okay.
The idea is to have 3. The first will be the key block, second will be the colour blocks, and then the last one will be printing. Yeah.
So taken here, you mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
Without street cam, you feel lost. Sorry, I'm here instead.
Oh, is it off? Soka. It is actually there,
Outside camera?
Yeah, if you pull it down from the corner into the corner, you can put it here in the corner. Sorry, I didn't realize. Soka.
I thought it was a choice, sorry about
No,
that.
sorry. Yeah. If it's not bothering. Soka. I didn't realize you didn't know. Sorry.
Better?
So you just turned it off at the beginning. Okay. What I do is I don't turn it off. I shrink it down. Yeah. Soka.
Oh, we never had it on.
Ah, I see.
I guess we
see.
just that's what happened.
In all the setup, I forgot about it. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. My apologies, gang. Excuse me.
It was kind of an abrupt start this morning. That it just
tell me about it. So blame it on Taran-san. It's okay.
My bad.
We've missed the vegetable man.
He'll be back. We're lost in Dave's hair. Yeah, it's the angle.
Huh?
We're lost in your hair today. It's like a a willow just over your face all day. How's the cone alignment? Oh, the outside street cone. I've missed the last couple of streams, you know, I'm a bit lost.
Well, there are some orange cones. I think they're in the other. Oh, there they are. Yeah, the right-hand cone is there.
Is there a new?
Well, yeah, and this is an old. This goes back years and years. If you make it a little bit bigger so we can see it, this our cone, our parking cones on the right-hand side. And the lady across the street has her own no parking cones. And are they lined up or not?
The camera's just in the wrong place. They're not completely.
Well, the cone is in the wrong place, so I don't know. But this is the thing they were talking about. I'm not sure that when the cones are in alignment, a saksa dissolves into.
Have to say thank you to you for making me fall in love with printing. I started off with liner cut. Great. That's for you.
Oh, for us?
For you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we are getting this kind of thing now almost every day in the shop. People are coming in and they're making prints, they're trying prints, and because of what we're putting on YouTube and stuff like that, it's really gratifying. We're not trying to be teachers, just trying to expose stuff, you know.
Sharing passion. Right.
Yeah, I guess so. Don't really think about it that way, but in real life, that's actually what's happening, I guess. And the endless requests for can we be an apprentice or can we be an intern, and the answer is always no, but the information is now out there. You don't need me. You don't need to be an apprentice. The information is there.
And there's going to be lots more information in a couple of weeks when this video's out.
Promises.
I really struggled with how, I'm sure you've had this issue as well, where you don't know, well, I guess you've found a nice balance now, but for me, coming in as I'm not the first kid on the block doing this, how detailed to go with the explanations, how much to talk technically, and how much
don't try and copy me, for God's sake. Just do your own taste and do your own style. The last thing you want to do is make videos that are just like mine. Absolutely. I say that seriously. I mean, I'm sort of in the way for you, I'm sorry, but just whatever, just do what you want to do.
So maybe
about YouTube videos, you know, how much to talk.
How technical to go, yeah. I think I've struck a nice balance. Some rambly bits and lots of technical stuff as well. So hopefully it's good for a couple different types of audience. I'm also thinking about maybe doing two versions, like a short version and a long version. But editing is a killer.
Anyway, get something out first, and then you can make decisions going forward based on the feedback and what people tell you and what the results are. If nobody watches it, there's lots of people watching. Just get something up there first. You know? I didn't know what I was doing when we started, not at all.
When you first started, how did you feel about hearing your own voice, about speaking?
Start YouTube, you mean?
Start any sort of camera work. You've done a lot of TV work.
No, so that's the thing. The YouTube is nothing for me because I've been on TV so many times. It's not like 500 times I've been on TV in Japan. It doesn't matter anymore. You know?
I can talk fine, but as soon as there's a camera on...
No, you just got to forget it. I mean, the easy words to say, just forget it. You know, you've got the rules, when somebody's here to do a TV show or whatever, you have to ask them first, what are the rules about this going to be? Am I going to talk to you or am I talking to the camera? You know, you go over the different points, and he will tell you what they want to do, and then just forget it. You're just talking to a person, you know.
I did a thing at a museum once, like instructing.
With a microphone in the crowd?
Yeah, carving.
You had your carving bench, so?
It was for the Carvers Association.
I mean, you're behind your bench with a tool in your hand and they can see you. So
yeah, there was a camera facing down.
Okay.
It was supposed to be Asuka Sensei, but he was sick, so I stood in. And my hand was like this on the camera.
Sorry, all I can say is just experience, so just forget it. I mean, if you think about it, when I turn the camera on for my next YouTube video, you know, it's going to be actually 1 million people watching this thing. Plus, you can't think about that. It just drives you crazy. So. This wood grain,
yeah.
Both ways.
So that's it. It's not so much the general populace that's nerve-wracking. It's the idea of the people who know something having a look at it and going, "This guy's full of shit."
You're not being pretending. I mean, everybody knows who you are. You're a certain number of years of experience, and that's what you've learned. I mean, so don't pretend to be something you're not. And I don't know, what can I say? Don't sweat it. And at the end of the day, who cares? What doesn't matter? What's out? Doesn't matter. When I think of the crap that I've put out, or the bad things I've done, or whatever, you can't let it get to you. Don't look back.
I think maybe the Vegetable Man's been and gone. People haven't seen the Vegetable Man today, and they're a bit out of sorts. You can't avoid know-it-all on YouTube. It's part of the ecosystem. Yeah, everyone's an expert. Who's that from?
Mm-hmm.
So what's for show and tell today? Have you got anything interesting?
Well, I've got, I brought something from Ome. I was at an Ome yesterday, so I went to the shelves before I came home and grabbed a couple of things. So I think we'll look at an old book today. I brought an old book. It's stuff, I haven't been to Ome so much for so long. I mean, it's my house, my home, but I don't live there. So I haven't browsed my bookshelves for literally years. I basically moved to Osaka in 2014. When I went there yesterday, I spent most of the time downstairs with the staff. We're planning, there's a staffing issue we've got, and planning for next year and stuff like that. But then quickly before I came, ran up to my room and just looked at the shelves and grabbed a couple of things. Oh, I remember this, or what's this? I don't remember this. So,
I've been there, To Ome.
I think so. You and Oscar Sensei.
Yeah.
I forget what occasion.
I think it was when you were in
downstairs. Yeah. Did you see the big block, the Hashibichi block? Did we pull that one out and look at it?
No.
The block for that print, the makeup print.
No, I didn't see that.
The block.
After?
It's in Ome, not here.
Ah, okay, you got the block in Ome. It'd be fun to walk around. Oh, okay, it's one of them. I've acquired a block.
Someone asked, do I have any, earlier in the stream, they asked, do I have any expensive prints and stuff like this? I have things.
But we just can't declare them in the collection. You'll make mistakes. So what everyone does. Yeah, thank you.
What a mess this block is. You can see the grain, the Jotaran-san, whatever. Look at this.
I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah.
That's the life of a carver.
Yep, these days. Wasn't like that in the old days. Back when I was young.
How are you going to renovate the property wall, side street in Ome? Are you doing a renovation on the wall that attaches to the street? Are you doing any renovation in Ome? No?
I'm not sure what the question is here.
I think maybe they're talking,
if you look at it in Google Street View, the front wall, the little...
is on the road, right?
Yeah, it's falling down. But it's falling inward, so we don't have to really worry about damaging people. But, yeah, we need some maintenance. We absolutely need some maintenance. And in fact, that was part of yesterday's discussion, chatting with the women. We need a new... The stairs going down to the second basement are getting rusty, and also the light doesn't work anymore. We've got a little a solar powered light that charges during the day and goes on at night, and it's not working well. And they gave me a list yesterday of maintenance issues. So. And yeah, I gotta get to it.
It falls to you because it's
my house. It's my house, and I'm renting it. I'm you know, the company's renting it from me and paying me rent for it. So if the company doesn't pay these things, I have to pay those things. I'm the landlord. I don't pay much, but it does pay. That's one reason why my salary at Mokuhankan can be just, you know, token, because I get money for rent for the workshop.
how long's the? It's technically it's a 10-year apprenticeship.
But what does that mean at the end of it? Like in the old days, remember, the apprentice was released. He would either stay as an employee or go out and run his own shop. What's the
10 years until you've paid your dues, and then after that, after you've been taught for all these years, you're expected to give a few years back to the workshop.
It's like work for no pay.
Work for pay, but just don't go off and start a rival company or something like that. You know. Still carry on doing work for the. But
also during this apprenticeship, I don't answer if you don't want to answer. But like, are you getting paid for this, or it's the old 500 yen coin twice a year at festival time or something? You know, I'm not going to answer. Okay, forget it. You know, none of my business. But that is part of the question. You know, how is this working these days? You know. I mean, what was when he was an apprentice for Kojiro-san? Do you have any idea how it worked? Did he actually get paid, or he was a slave, an indentured slave? Do we know?
I don't.
Okay.
It's not really a question I can ask.
No, I just do whatever. It's part of the discussion.
It seems a bit hinting at like. So how much were you paid? Is it comparable to?
Well, no. I mean, how did it work in the old days? You know, the one night when you're drinking together or something. You know, how did it work in the old days? You know, how did you survive? We know he was delivering noodles. We've heard this story. He had his bicycle, and in the evenings he delivered udon or
udon, yeah.
So that would imply that he either wasn't getting paid or certainly didn't get much for his work for the.
Certainly not much. Yeah.
I mean, the classical one, going right back, is there was no such thing as pay, but you had room and board. You were in the dormitory and you were fed, basically. You were the gopher. Then maybe twice a year you'd get an envelope with a 500 yen or something, not the equivalent of a 500 yen coin, or festival day or something. And you would get Matsuri days off to go and enjoy the summer festival, and find a girlfriend or whatever.
Sometimes doesn't get paid to me. No, I get, when I do a job, I get paid.
But anyway, the Mokuhankan jobs, we're of course paid independently. You know, so.
But lots of it is he'll give me materials like wood blocks. He'll give me he'll want me to do a project. He'll give me all the materials and papers and stuff like that. Which there's just no way I could afford them. How much does a set of wood blocks
work
cost?
For him, and he supplies the materials. Like this is of course he expects you to buy the wood blocks.
No. But if I was to do this on my own. If I was to try and carve blocks, a set of blocks on my own, how much would it cost? You know, it's 14 for.
Wait, you're talking about the projects he asks you to help with, or the projects he's assigned to you to do?
No, if I was to go, assigned me to practice.
Okay. So he's supplying the materials for them, which most of us would say, of course. You know, I don't know, but I don't know. Okay. My God, this piece of wood. It's just embarrassing. Close your eyes, please, everybody. Someone's watching the time, aren't they?
9:09.
Okay.
Soon.
Okay. We can give one hint to the stream. Do you have that red book? Is it around? Did you put
this
on the back cover? ask someone to do some research for us. We're going to look up Tempo Gannen, the first year of the Tempo era. It could be Tempo. I don't know how to say it in English. Tenpou, or it could be Tenbo. Tembo or Tempo Gannen, first year of the Tempo era. And I don't know what date that is in real life.
Tempo Gannen.
And this is before the Gregorian change, so the answer is going to be indeterminate anyway, but I don't know.
Get going.
And the winner is...
Have we got some chocolate eggs here somewhere?
Oh, I don't know, Karen, you have to find one somewhere. Just reach up into space there.
John Becker, 1830 to 1844. Somewhere thereabouts.
Well, Gannen means the first year of the era, so this would be if it's 18.
Taryn, for show and tell, could you mention the wooden puzzles toy that Dave made? Did you bring some back from home or something?
No, there's one in the back room there, but no, I don't know if it's going to be appropriate today.
That grain's a real pain.
Yeah, it's just insane. Just close your eyes, please. Everybody, close your eyes.
He said when a guest will appear, he'll show the puzzle.
When a guest will appear, I'll show the puzzle. I don't know. I mean, the only way to show the puzzle is to take the camera into the back room of the tatami, because this is a puzzle that takes 2 meters to make on the floor.
Okay.
It's not something I can show on the desk here. I don't know.
Rain check.
I don't know if I promised something that's misunderstood here. We need to move the camera to the back room in the tatami room there, put it wider. So, I know this is also something we've talked about on the streams, that there's lots of larger items in the collection upstairs, and that have been difficult for me to show and tell because they're so large. We need space. I think we did that. You were here like a year or so ago, and I had some large, a byobu or something.
Yeah.
So like we sort of pre-arranged this, we could do that, you know. But then again, the problem with moving the camera, I mean, shutting down the stream, moving everything to the back room, or trying to do it like we do on the sizing days, you know, grabbing the cables and moving everything. So I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be, you know, hard going here, but for the large items.
How did you become an apprentice? Wait for the video. There's a little bit of it.
No,
any day now.
No hints here, Taran-san, really?
No, I've got a story in the video that
okay.
Maybe I'll save for that. But I asked him. He said, you have to work in the shop. You have to take classes for a while. After a year, I'll take you on as an apprentice. And it took exactly a year to the day.
Backstory. I know Asuka Sensei has an actual, quote, school, unquote,
right,
where people pay him to learn things. So there's a backstory here. If Taran-san just says, teach me, I mean, Asuka-san runs a school. So the first step would be, hi, pay your dues, sit in the chair, and we will teach you. So that would be sort of, from his point of view, the first thing, you know, rather than apprentice. That's the back.
It's also a large thing off the bat to say, yeah, I'll take you as an apprentice for 10 years, having known you for 5 minutes, you know.
That bonsai story that I read last week, I don't remember the exact details, but it was on the order of the American guy had written a letter. Can we explore the idea of apprenticeship? No answer. A month later, he resends the letter, no answer. And it goes on and on for, I don't know how many years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. He writes a letter every month, and there's no reply. But he keeps doing it. The point being, I have to show this guy I'm serious, you know, of course. And the guy at the other end is, how can I tell this guy's serious? I guess in the case of the bonsai story, the letters must have been going for whatever X number of years, and finally the guy had an opening for an apprentice, thought this guy does seem serious, at least he's serious enough to write this same letter once every month, so let's try it.
Do you know the guy's name?
I don't, all I know is that it was on the net last week. It went round.
Is it ASEAN?
I don't remember anything, just, you know, if you Googled bonsai apprentice Japan and then ask Google to keep it within the last 2 weeks of something of search. I don't remember. It was in the New Yorker or it was in... It might have been on Long Reads.
An American?
It's an American guy, and I think he's now living in the Portland area. I don't
Right,
remember.
it's called ASEAN Bonsai. You can find it on YouTube.
Okay, I don't remember that. I'm sorry. The guy's name was Nick, maybe.
I can't remember his
I think
name.
he starts with an N. I think it was Nick. This is how carelessly I read. You know, I was just sort of reading, skimming. But anyway, the point I was trying to make there was that this was the only way he had to show the guy I'm serious. I mean, replies didn't come, so the only way he had to show his seriousness was to keep sending.
I'm not sure. The guy's called Bjorn. Okay, thank you.
No, this is not a man. His name begins with an N. Absolutely, his name begins with an N.
Anyway.
Nick.
Show and tell?
Is it that time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm scooting in for this one now.
I think can you pull the outside camera down a little bit here, then? This way.
And this one?
It's up to you. What do you think?
Scooches out the way.
Okay.
Ryan Neal?
Pardon me?
Ryan Neal?
Neil, well, there was an N in it somewhere. I'm sorry to be such a dunce about this. I wasn't expecting you to be talking about it, so that's all. Oh, too tight here today.
You guys have really missed the vegetable man today. There's been so much vegetable man talk. The outside camera's off, and that's all.
Okay, we have a book to look at, but before I do that, when I arrived from Ome last night, there was a package on my desk, some prints that need to be checked, and they will have to be checked really, really soon, in other words, today. And these are from Ayumi-san. You're going upstairs to talk to her today, right? So this is why she's free today, because she has finished her job. I'm maybe not supposed to be showing these. Oops, they're upside down. Oh, this must be the batch. She is calling her good batch. And then at the very bottom, she's got 2 or 3 copies that she's got.
This was Chonsan carving?
Yes, Chonsan carving under duress. I know whatever, I gotta be careful what I say with him. He's fantastic, just beyond belief, good, beyond belief. But recently he's been taking it too far. We've given him a job, for example, like this to carve, and he's thought, I can carve thinner than this, and he's just carved everything super thin because he can't. And it hasn't been matching the specific work. So the last couple of months, the printers have been extremely struggling because he has gone just a bit too far, too much. So this time I told him, John-san, the original for these were quite rough. The faces, as you can see, are rough little faces. Please leave them as they are. Don't fix this. And he wanted to fix. He wanted to add a couple more colors. I said, no. So he and I actually are sort of not really nice friends at the moment because we're struggling with this. He wants to make every print into a masterpiece. As a publisher, I can't afford to do that, but he understandably wants to do glorious work for everything. So we're struggling with this. So this one he did, as far as I can see so far, he did a wonderful replica of what the prints were, which is the job I wanted him to do. These are from the Tokaido, Cleo Tokaido. He's a Kurige story. And he's done very nice. And this, Ayumi-san's done very nice too. It's very simple, very clean. There's only 4 colors, and this is interesting, how much variety you can get inside a print. There's only
really
4,
like the
this is
reduced
4
palette.
blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is an example of how the colors overlay, you know. There are 4 here. The key block is block number 1. I say black, but it's more of a bit of a gray black. That's block number 1. Then there is a color that acts as a flesh tone. When you put it inside of somebody's face, your mind accepts it as being a flesh tone. But when the same color is on a piece of wood, your mind accepts it as being a color of a piece of wood or something, you know. And then there's a basic blue, which becomes either clouds or water or part of the scene or part of clothing. There's a blue clothing, and then we have a gray to add tint and tone and body. And the gray can go on top of the woody tones,
some mixing.
and the gray can go on top of the blue to make like this, to make a gray or blue. So you get a wonderful variety. It ends up, I think there's actually there's 7 tones or perhaps 8 tones in there altogether if you try and find every part that actually overlaps. And this is good news, bad news for the printer. I know they can get a lot of colors and interest in the print, but it means something's very difficult. When the grey overlays the skin tone and the blue and the brown, then the level of grey that you use is going to change 4 things all at once. It changes its own grey tone, and it changes all the different ones. So it's not easy to get the balance right when everything overlaps everything. Every single switch, every single dial you turn changes all the other dials at the same time. It's like if you imagine a mixing board, and that's fine. You put up the drums, you put up the bass, you pull the bass and drums down, but every time you pull up the drums, everything else changes at the same time. It's not an easy thing to do.
And it reacts differently with light colours and dark
colours. Yeah, the grey, so
exactly.
If the grey is overlaying a light colour or overlaying a dark colour, the grey changing may not even affect the dark colour at all, but it will dramatically change the light colour. It's not trivial at all. This looks like a trivial little woodblock print, but it's actually very, very well engineered and very well made, both by the original designers and by us as well. Anyway, this is not today's show and tell. It's got to go away. She's done a very nice job. It's going to be a formality for me here to just go through this morning, click, 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 make sure they're all okay. She has given me what she calls a few reject copies. They may be her initial tests, or they may be some of these things that I mentioned. Perhaps the grey will be too dark or too light or something like this. I don't actually see any dramatic.
Just answer a question here. The polymer plates, they're outsourced from our company.
There's no polymer plate here. This is woodblock printing.
But someone's been asking about.
Okay. I know nothing of the work we're seeing here today. This is not polymer plates. This is 4 pieces of wood, 4 wood blocks. But yeah, the polymer plates for putting our names on the prints we get from a standard printing company. Any printing company these days that does actual, I don't know, they mostly do offset work on their little local Heidelbergs or whatever, but if they need to do relief work, almost everything these days is done with polymer.
Have we got a Casey, Hoddy Casey?
Of course, we've already been using it to show. What have we done so far? No.
No, this will be the first. I haven't had my name embossed yet. They've all been too small.
I have ordered one and we've used one. What would we have used on Tom? I've done this. Or we've got it ready.
Got it ready. I don't think we've used it yet.
No, okay. But I've done this.
That will go on the next one.
The postcard ones you've done for me are too small. Do you want to go and grab them? You can just pull them off the wall temporarily. I'll bring them over here. We can show. There's 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, too many things to do. What's the time? We're still okay, are we? 9:22. We're okay.
I'll just grab 2.
Oh, you don't like the other 2? What?
Well, just for time. Okay, I'll grab.
It's okay. Just show them. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got numbers. Leave the pins where they are. Just slide the thing out of the pins. Don't change the pins. Just slide the board. Yeah.
So that was the first one?
This was the first one. Taran said this was our New Year card. Was it
2020?
2 years back, I guess. Taran-san did this, and it is now in our catalog, number 463. Web link. Somebody can give us a web link. Taran-san did a nice job on this. We had edited an original hokusai.
Right, and I didn't know until after I'd come.
There was a bridge over the top of this thing, and I took it out.
This patch of brown here, I was thinking, why is there a patch of brown here? Why did Hokusai put it here?
It's a tree. No, it's a bridge.
It's part of a bridge that's no longer there.
Details. Hokusai doesn't care. He's happy that we're all looking at his stuff still. It's okay. This was the first one Taran-san did for us. Then I think next up would have been this one, right?
This is the first.
And this is Takahashi Shote, right? And this is not something that has been shrunk down from an original copy.
This is enlarged, yeah.
This is enlarged. The original would have been about that big, and we basically enlarged it by a factor of 2, making it 4 times as large. And Taran-san prepared the tracing on this. From this one, we basically just worked from the original Hokusai book, right? But Taran-san on this one had to actually trace this and create some lines and make things that made sense. Because the little lines originally were so small, there was no taste in a lot of them. So when you enlarge it, a terribly drawn line becomes a grotesque line. So Taran-san had to neaten it up. Other than that, is it the same Taran-san as the original, or did we add any colours? I don't remember.
No, it's exactly the same.
What was next? Next must have been...
I wish I'd... Yeah.
Travellers,
Travellers?
I don't know, whatever. I'm convinced this is Don Quixote, but nobody else will believe me.
Absolutely.
I know. But we're Westerners, we're strange people. The Japanese, nobody will accept that as being Don Quixote. It is. The hat! My God, the hat! Nothing else, So. On this one, how much? We couldn't see the lines, so you had to retrace these lines? I don't remember.
There's a bunch of areas on that are like kind of smudgy.
Okay, and that's something else too I've got to mention before we go up. You want to tell us about this, sir?
Oh, right.
That's
All
that
the
is-
Takahashi
I know.
Shoto ones.
Oh, good morning,
Morning.
Ken-san. Hey. This is Hiroaki, which is an alternate name. Takahashi Shota used the art name of Hiroaki, so that's on all the prints. And this is not Hiroaki. This is,
This is mine. Yeah, Dave said I could add a little.
what is it?
It's a little ginkgo leaf.
Aha, that's your future workshop name.
Maybe. It's the one I'm going by now.
I have mixed feelings about whether I should have let that go in there, but whatever. Let's have some fun. Why not?
You actively encouraged
Did I?
me to put it in.
Okay. I mean, hey. I could have said not on over my dead body is somebody else's mark going to go on this original print by somebody else. This one turned out nicely. The printers have complained a little bit that it was too many colors, too many blocks for a print that's going to sell for such a small amount. It only sells for 4,000 yen, and Ishikawa-sen, I think she took 12, 13, 14 impressions. But it's okay. The original didn't have that many printings.
No, definitely not. No.
Tanan-san gave us a base set of color separations on this, and Ishikawa-san went to town to create some wonderful
great
light
awesome,
effects.
yeah.
So this is in the catalog. It's number 312, but we can't guarantee Christmas delivery at this point. Too late. Hey, thank you, sir. Good.
Thank
I
you.
hadn't thought about showing those, but there they are. Okay, the real show and tell, the real good ones. We have a book. This is, when you first see a book like this in the used bookshop, and it says manga, and it's this orange vermilion color, and you think, oh, I've got one of the volumes of the Hokusai manga, because this is what most of them looked like when they were published back in the old days, and this is the condition that most of them have ended up in. This is not the Hokusai manga. We can see K, and what's missing is the character for north, Hoku. This is Hokkei manga, and it's the first the book one. I don't know how you pronounce this. It's Hatsu first, Sho, and then I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Satsu, book, volume, and it's Zen, all of them together. So there was volumes 1, 2, and 3, and these are all together volumes 1, 2, 3 of the first book one. Whether there ever became a book 2 or book 3, I actually don't think so. I think that's all that was ever published. The Hokusai manga had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It ended up as 14 or 15 of them, I think. I don't remember. But the Hokkei manga, I think, just ended up as 1. This is an oh, Mori-san, hello. We got a crowd here. What time is it? Oh my God, we got lots of prints to show.
27.
27. I haven't even opened the book yet. Taran-san.
Comment.
It's all your fault. Anyway, we have, like I said, we have the Hokkei manga. Hokkei, as you can tell by his name, was an apprentice of Hokusai. The Hokusai manga at this time, this would be somebody told us already, right? 1832 or something, 1834? Something, anyway. So the Hokusai manga obviously had already started to sell really well, so the apprentices said, I can do that too. Hokkei did one, Hokubo did one,
31.
Hokubo manga. I think there was a bunch of
Thank you.
Hokusai apprentices who got off and started to do the same thing. It was obviously, here we have. Now we can't see the whole thing, so let's also save some of this for next time, because we clearly can't give this justice today. Let's look at a few pages now, and we'll save it for the next show and tell Monday morning also. Let me flip through a few. And it's exactly like a Hokusai manga. There are stories. We have here the old couple with the turtle with the long tail, longevity. Hagoromo, what's the name of the play? Mori-san, remind me. We see the old couple, right? The old couple at New Year's time. We've had the New Year crane, where at New Year's the old couple with the turtle with the long tail. It's the no theater. Is it Hagoromo?
大きなとなんちゃらみたいなやつですか。
This is before Mukashi Banashi. This is an old. We've got pine trees, the turtle.
Takasago.
That sounds familiar to show. I'm searching for the word. I can't remember the word for it. Anyway, this is the New Year.
Maybe chocolate eggs.
And you just saw a minute ago the print we made with four wood blocks. This book, we've got a key outlines. Then we have a sort of a peach tone, which is similar to the one we used in our book for skin tones. Then we have a green. And just to grab a page.
Is it grey as well, right?
Is there grey? I'm just looking.
Is there a grey under here, or is that just...
I don't, yeah, there's a grey on the turtle. So
great.
we've got similar colours, but instead of the blue, they've gone with the green, although some of the pages may have blue, we'll see. So it looks like the same thing, 4 colours, 4 blocks. And with those 4 blocks, you can print your book very, very cheaply, very, very easily, and you get, quote unquote, full colour. Full colour. This thing's been used. A lot of people over the years have looked through this thing. So they haven't met each other yet. Sorry guys, excuse me. When we're finished, well, I'll yeah, come through, so. And we have, I think, at the beginning of this book, we have a passage of a year. We have, I don't know, this is what, Shigatsu, Gogatsu. We have, the first section of the book is going to be working through the seasons of the year. Although we seem to have jumped straight to 4. I can't see this upside down. And it's classic Hokusai. People just doing stuff. The whole book is going to be people doing stuff. It's going to be nature. It's going to be... And if you had just shown me this image all by itself, I would have said, this is Hokusai, period. Because the apprentices have caught the style so...
Yeah, they've been drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, well, that's not just that. They're told what to do. I mean, you will do this. When you're an apprentice, you do it the way of the master. Including, we've got to zoom in. Well, there's no doubt about this. This is a dog, sure.
Ah.
It's a dog. It's
a bit of a weaselly head.
No, this is not a weasel cat dog. This is an actual, right?
The whiskers look a bit mole-ish to me, actually.
Hey, don't complain. This is a dog. The 4 funny straight legs. The tail, I mean, the tail tells the story, right? This is an actual dog. So maybe...
Definitely a dog.
Maybe the apprentices could do animals better than the master. I don't know.
Tanuki whiskers. Doggo. It's a doggo. Yeah.
Yeah. And the classic splayed finger Hokusai. We see this everywhere, all through the manga, through many
He
pages.
does it with the feet as well.
Well, I don't know, but was this him or was this the carvers? I don't know. But this is classic. You see this and you know this is Hokusai school, I guess is the expression. I guess this is actually a spread. This gentleman is looking over here, so I think this is all one. Oh, here we are, too. It comes through. So this is one picture. I was thinking it was 2 pictures. I'm sorry, it's not. Oops. Pull out, push in. It's one picture, right?
Busy scene.
Why is this guy holding an extra pair of shoes?
Has he got anything on it? Unfortunately, his feet are a bit smudgy, aren't they? Is he barefoot?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Carrying them into the house, but they're outside.
I don't know. No, he's wearing shoes. He has footwear. Why is he carrying extra footwear? For somebody else. Or maybe he's selling. He could be selling footwear. He's got a box on his bag. This could be his wares. This could be an itinerant shoe salesman.
They're different style of shoes, probably.
Well, it's gaita. It's the 2 wooden things at the bottom. It's double gaita with the wooden.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's
what's the connection
to come
with
to
the
a muddy
festival?
patch.
I don't know. No idea. Barring any other information, I would guess that he
So
is.
much going on in the shop now. I think it's.
I know it's chaos. Okay, anyway, we have got to get to work, right?
time.
Okay, gang, there's lots to see and enjoy in this book. I'm going to bring it back on Monday. We'll look through some more. And Taran Taran-san right now is going to get upstairs. Ayumi-san said she'll be here at 9:30. Paper is ready. Blocks are ready. I won't be there. I'm going to be down here.
Oh, that's fine.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Pop up the Hiroshi Yoshida just for a second so we can see. Taran-san's job today with Ayumi-san upstairs is doing the first test proofing on that Yoshida image that you see here. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes. And if we've made some big mistakes, or if we're going to be okay, or how far we have to back up.
Yeah, good luck. I'm going to need it. It's
okay.
a lot.
We do need it. I know this is not. I have no idea what this is, how to do this either. We are very much. We've jumped into a pool, and we are like, our heads are above water. But what do we do? Where do we go?
Thank you. I'm sorry I missed so much.
Yep.
Late
So
night.
that's the way it is. That's the way it is. No, okay. Throw up the outside. Pick in the middle, or outside camera.
Audio.
No, outside camera. Yep. All right. Thanks, gang. Bye-bye. See
Bye.
you next time. See you Monday morning. Okay. There we go. Anything worth seeing? There are lots of people.
Is that
Umbrellas. Is it raining? Again? Is it raining? It looks wet. It looks damp. It's raining again. No, for the weekend. Mori-san, it's raining, is it?
Yeah,
Oh, it's going to be a quiet day. Okay. All right. Sign us off. Let's go.
Bye.